look at some of the ways that we can customize what we see whenever we log in to WorkPAK. So starting off, if we notice here, the coloring and everything that we have is actually a theme. So if you wanted to come in and customize what it is that you see when you log on to WorkPAK, we can do so right here with our themes option. So I keep mine set on black because I think it keeps everything nice and clean. I think it just looks really sharp, but there's a lot of different ones that we can find in here. So for example, oh, I forgot this one is called, yeah, this high contrast. I don't think that I would be using that one. But we have some silly themes in here. So we have Valentine if we wanted to put some hearts. Look at our little check boxes. Once you check it, we see the little arrow going through it. We have springtime. We have little leaves for our check boxes. We also have one if you are familiar with working on a Mac computer and that's what you prefer, but you are on a Windows computer, maybe for work, then we have one that's kind of like an Apple related theme that we can see here. And so once you set this theme, this is specific to your login. It does not change the theme for anyone else. So I'm going to put it back to the one that I have. And then also we see that we can check right here if we want to see our alerts, which is our alert system and where it pops up. And then also our menu item captions. If I were to turn this one off, then when we go in up here, we'll see that we just have these little tiles. And if we hover, it tells us what it is. I prefer to keep mine on because as you see, once we get into our actual events and we're planning, then it makes it a little bit more challenging to see what we're trying to get to. So let me go and turn this one back on and then we'll take a look at, so this is what it looks like when we have our captions turned back on. But also if we're looking at this, so I'm in the planning tile and I'm in an event right now. This is my documentation event. If we scroll and look through, we will see that there are a ton of tiles, and most people that are in WorkPAK, you don't really need all of these tiles. And actually these tiles are permission driven. So if you have a planner that's coming in and the only thing that they're going to be doing is getting in this work scope tab right here and planning out jobs, then you set those permissions at the system setup level or the global level. And the only thing that they would see when they sign on to their WorkPAK is going to be the work scope tile. However, the reason that you see every single tile show up for mine is because I have all the permissions that the system has to offer. But let's say if you have all of these permissions, if you're a system admin and you have these permissions, but you don't necessarily want to have to scroll through all of these tiles when you're only working in a few specifically, then something we can do is go into this filter menu items option right here. And on the left side, we see that these are all of our system setup options that we have. These are all of the available events. These are all of our planning items, and then all of our cost items. So let's say that the only event that I'm going to be working in is going to be my documentation event. So I can uncheck them and then check my documentation one. And then the only thing that I want to be able to see is my manage event tile. And then also I plan on looking at the work scope. So now what's going to happen is when I go into planning, I only will see my event that I checked. And then once I go into my event, I will only see the two tiles that I checked from that filter menu items option. So having this available is just a way to kind of clean up your work screen and just make it a little bit easier to navigate and get to the things that you're going to be working in actively. So thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for future tutorials.